Hi everybody and welcome to this video on the hyperbola. In this video we have a look at the domain and the range of the hyperbola. So what is the domain? It's the values, the x values that the graph covers, and the range is the y values that the graph covers. So with the hyperbola, these arrows over here indicate that it goes to positive and negative infinity in both the x and y. However, there's one value that it doesn't ever cover, and that's the asymptote. So remember, the definition of an asymptote is a line that it does not touch. So that is one value that it will not then take, is the asymptote. So the domain is all real numbers, so it takes all the values and just does not equal the asymptote. So that's the quickest way to write the domain of a hyperbola. It's all real numbers except for the asymptote. And the y, the range is y is an element of real numbers, but it's not equal to q, which is our asymptote over there. If you wanted to, you could write this as x is an element from minus infinity to p not included, and then from p not included to infinity, but I find it more efficient to just write it like that. Either way, whichever one you feel more comfortable with, you can use. So that is the domain and range. It's quite simple. It does require you to know your asymptotes. So let's do some examples. So again, before we find the domain and range, we're going to write down what's the asymptote. So the asymptote for this graph here is x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. So our p and q are 0. So therefore, our domain is x is an element of real numbers, but x is not equal to 0. Our range is y is an element of real numbers, but y is not equal to 0. What is our domain and range for the second one? First, let's write down what's our asymptotes. So these are our asymptotes. So let's do our asymptotes again. So the first one is x is equal to 0 because our p-value is 0. And the next one is y is equal to -1. So that means our domain is x is an element of real numbers, but x is not equal to 0. And our range is y is an element of real numbers, but y is not equal to -1. Let us do the next one. Again, the first step is to find the asymptotes. The asymptote is x is equal to -2. We change the sign of the p, and y is equal to 0 because there's like a +0 there. So our domain is x is an element of real numbers, but x is not equal to -2. And our range is y is an element of real numbers, but y is not equal to 0. Let us do this one. Our asymptotes in this case over here are x is equal to 5. Remember to change the sign of p, and y is equal to 3. So our domain is x is an element of real numbers, but x is not equal to 5. And our range is y is an element of real numbers, but y is not equal to 3. For the final one, what are our asymptotes? Our asymptotes are x is equal to -2. We change the sign of p, and y is equal to -1, our q value. So that means our domain is x is an element of real numbers, but x is not equal to -2. And our range is y is an element of real numbers, and y is not equal to -1. So you can see that it is quite easy to get our domain and range for a hyperbola. The main step that you do need to know is you need to know how to get your asymptote, because we then need to say what does it not equal to in the domain and range. If you are unsure on how to get the asymptote, please watch our previous videos on the hyperbola.